are inseparable. We never go anywhere by ourselves because, like, I don't have any friends here, so I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And he doesn't go anywhere. And he's
But
not
when he
working.
goes to... Oh, he's not working?
No.
What happened?
Wait, what?
Wait, what? Yohan's not working? How did he go from having too many jobs last season to now not working at all?
Daniel y yo tenemos muchos planes. Queremos poner varios negocios, queremos comprar una casa, queremos tener nuestros hijos.
But Yohan's not working. Where's the money going to come from for all these expensive plans? Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves because there's a lot to unpack. One thing's for sure, Danielle and Yohan are back, and I can't decide whether I'm delighted or horrified, especially considering the last we heard from them, Yohan seemed pretty clear that their relationship was over.
Yo estoy con Daniel hasta que se cumpla el contrato de la casa. Cuando se termine el contrato, ella coge su lado y yo el mío.
Something at the tell-all seemed to break Yohan, and he suddenly had zero interest in working on his relationship. Now, was it just the drama with Danielle's ex, Talon? Or was it always his intention to dramatically end things on the tell-all because he'd just had enough? Either way, he's backtracked on what he said, because when we join them in this episode, it looks like the pair are still together and Danielle's living her DR fairy tale.
I love living in Dominican Republic. I love the weather. I love the beach. I love the slower pace. I love my husband.
Yo estoy en número 4 para ti.
Don't forget, Danielle had this terrible habit of romanticizing life in the Dominican Republic and pretending that the life her American dollars buy her there is and should be her standard of living. In fact, she's pretty open about how she left behind her life in New York because it was too expensive in order to chase a more affordable dream in the DR with Yohan. But it hasn't been as easy as she'd have liked.
Yohan and I got into a huge fight because he was really offended when I told him that someone I had dated from my past was coming to visit.
Ex. The term for someone I had dated from my past is ex Danielle. Just to refresh your memory, Danielle wanted to organise dinner with her husband and her ex. But Yohan wasn't interested. He made it clear that he wasn't even comfortable with Danielle going to meet Talon by herself. That's fair enough, but she fought hard, and ultimately Danielle got her way. You can understand why Yohan felt disrespected, and those feelings clearly surfaced again at the tell-all.
Después que tú decidiste traer a Taylor a esta relación se volvió una mierda. No quiero estar con Daniel.
At that moment, we were all cheering. After numerous seasons of watching Danielle verbally abuse and emasculate Yohan, the man had finally taken a stand. So what exactly happened between then and now? How do you go from breaking up with your wife on TV for the world to see to now frolicking on the beach and acting like everything's okay? Well, Danielle explains that Yohan acted out after he felt humiliated seeing her ex walk across that stage.
He felt like I had hurt him with my actions, so he wanted to hurt me with his. And that's why he was like, not only am I telling you I want a divorce, I'm going to tell you in front of the whole world so that you're just as humiliated as I am.
This is very, very in character for Yohan and might be his biggest red flag. He has a history of seeking to punish Danielle when he feels he's been wronged. The problem is, anytime he tries to talk to her, the conversation goes nowhere because Danielle will fight until she gets her way. So that leads to the situation where Yohan acting out is at times the only thing that he can do in order to be heard by her. All this to say, yeah, these two really do need therapy.
After the tell-all, I was sure that our relationship was over, but Yohan agreed to do therapy with me, which has been really helpful. By the third or the fourth session, he was really talking and he was really opening up.
Now, Yohan agreeing to therapy is a big deal. He comes from a culture with really strong values for traditional gender roles and masculinity. And I'm pretty sure he saw couples therapy as something that men don't do. Now, out of the two of them, it's Danielle that had far more to learn about being in a relationship. But does she see it the same way? Was she able to self-reflect? Being self-critical was always such a challenge for her.
And I was able to understand that. I wear my independence as a suit of armor. And now I'm really trying to learn how to be part of a marriage and part of a team. And that's really hard for me.
It's almost too good to be true, and I'm not sure I quite believe it. All that footage of Yohan squirting Danielle with a water gun on the beach, them trying to convince us that their life is bliss, seems difficult to swallow. Like, a few sessions of couples therapy doesn't just undo everything that happened, and neither does getting a dog.
Chismo, tu mamá piensa que tú eres un niño.
Él es un niño.
Un niño perrito.
Un niño perfecto.
Granted, Gizmo is adorable, but why does he feel like a band-aid for these two? You know, when a squabbling couple have a baby in order to try and save their marriage? Well, Gizmo seems to be Danielle and Yohan's version of this. Now, I'm glad that they're practicing being parents with a dog instead of bringing a human life into the equation, but the worrying thing is, they are still planning to do that too.
Daniel y yo tenemos muchos planes. Queremos poner varios negocios, queremos comprar una casa, queremos tener nuestros hijos.
Yohan's done with looking in the past and he wants to focus on the future. But I want to know what's changed from the past. Yohan did start a business, a butcher's business, and Danielle shat all over it. The pair want to buy a house. But last time Yohan couldn't afford more than $90 a month in order to help Danielle with rent. That was when he had jobs, he had an income. Since then, he's got no work and Danielle filed for bankruptcy. Now, we'll come back to that shortly, because for now, Danielle is off to the airport to pick up her friends from New York. And on the journey home, they take the opportunity to have a girly chat in the car.
We are inseparable. We never go anywhere by ourselves because, like, I don't have any friends here, so I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And he doesn't go anywhere. And he's
But when
not
he
working.
goes to, oh, he's not working.
No.
What happened?
Wait,
what?
See, this is exactly what I was saying. They've been in the car for 5 minutes, and the dream Danielle's trying to sell is already cracking. Danielle explains that Yohan left his job as a personal trainer at the resort to devote his time to the butcher's shop. But I'm guessing that didn't go as planned because that too is now shut. According to Danielle, the shop shut because the landlord wanted the space back.
It closed for a reason, either because he's supposed to look for a different kind of business venture or because he needs to learn that you don't rent a storefront without a contract.
Oh, to be a fly on the wall with that conversation. I wonder how long it took for Danielle to scream, "I told you so," in Yohan's face. She did have this big thing about his poor planning and organisational skills. Turns out she may have been right. Secretly, I think Danielle's pretty happy about the situation. She was never impressed with the butcher's shop, and it clearly didn't tie in to her vision of an ideal life. She wants to be married to the hot fitness instructor, not to a butcher.
He should be training people privately. We live in a resort community.
Sure.
He can get
Is
plenty
that a
of
thing? Could he do that?
Yeah, I believe it's like a blessing in disguise.
But if Yohan isn't working, then that means that Danielle's paying for everything. That means she's become what she never wanted to be. She's become a sugar mama.
I hope he doesn't think that I'm going to be his sugar mama, because that's not my plan.
If words are a tool, then it seems to me like Danielle's making a conscious effort to dull the sharpness of the way she delivers information. But even a dull knife hurts when it's stabbed into Yohan's gut like that.
Right now, the only place that the money can come from is my bank account and the work that I do. Hopefully, we can figure out a way for Yohan to contribute somehow financially, but we're not there yet.
Now, with Danielle working as an online yoga instructor, I see her vision. Her mental health and spirituality business would pair really well with Yohan's personal training services. Their clients could come to one place to work on their mental and physical health. But the problem is, right now, she's just desperate to show off to her friends. She wants to show off about how idyllic her life is in the DR.
What is like a typical day for you?
One of us will make breakfast, and then we do nothing, like just till around noon. And then we decide at 12 if we're going to go to the beach or the pool.
You can't live a life like that.
For a lady whose plan was just to eat mangoes when she arrived in the DR, it seems she's close to manifesting her dream life. She's explaining what a day in her life looks like. And to be honest, it looks like a whole lot of nothing. Which explains why even her friends aren't buying it. How can she afford this lifestyle, even in the DR? Are we just meant to assume that her online business that she's just set up is already making enough money to support the two of them?
Danielle could try to paint this perfect life, but I'll see through all the crystals and the smoke and the peanut shells and the sage, and I'm gonna be like, nope.
No, we'll see through it.
There's no doubt that they'll get to the bottom of it eventually, but for now, the girls are headed to the apartment to meet Yohan for the very first time. Now, one thing that's definitely in their favour is that they both seem to speak Spanish fluently. And while they've had their doubts about him in the past, they're not ready for the Yohan effect.
Yohan is like a monstrosity of a man. He's beautiful. He's so endearing. It's like, I don't know if it's his smile or it's just so easy to engage with him.
Yeah, it didn't take long for Yohan to win them around. But that's not going to stop them from trying to assess the situation as accurately as possible. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not that I'm hoping to see cracks in the new and improved Danielle and Yohan relationship. It's just that I'm finding it really difficult to believe this Pleasantville act. Like they're suddenly so understanding and accommodating of each other's flaws. It's only been a few months since we last saw them on our screens. I mean, I just don't think they've changed so radically in such a short space of time. Just listen to Yohan's response at the dinner table when he's asked, "How is everything? Honestly."
No todo de color de rosa, pero estamos tratando de que sea así.
Tienen esta relación y están poniendo el esfuerzo para desarrollar una bonita relación.
You really can tell the difference that therapy is having on their relationship. Like, even the way that they're phrasing their problems is so calculated and thoughtful. They are trying their best not to provoke each other. This is definitely a good development. It just remains to be seen if this can continue for the long term. Danielle's friends have their doubts. They note that Yohan's changed his entire way of being just to suit Danielle, and that isn't really a compromise. So will he eventually crack?
I think as Yohan gets more confident, he is going to put his foot down about things. And I think she's going to say, oh, because she does, let's be clear, she doesn't want a man she could walk all over. Let's be very clear about that.
I think her friend's being a bit contradictory here. Like, she claims that Danielle doesn't want a man that she can walk all over. And yet, in the same breath, she also says that Danielle wouldn't know how to handle Yohan if he were to set his foot down about an issue.
But if he's like, nope, this is how it is, what is she going to do?
That, to me, says that she does want a man that she can walk all over. The entire world has seen this exact scenario already play out. Yohan put his foot down about Danielle seeing her ex, but she did it anyway. So does this friend just see patterns about to repeat themselves? Well, her friends aren't quite finished with their interrogation just yet. Now they move on to the joblessness.
Y tienes otro tipo de sueño.
Me gustaría, tengo mucho proyectos, me gustaría tener un gimnasio propio.
Okay.
Ideally, we would hacer juntos.
So that's the end goal. The couple want to own a gym where Danielle can set up her yoga classes and Yohan can do his personal training. As I said, it's a good dream. I just wonder what the startup costs of something like that would be. Where would Danielle get the money from? What would that mean for their aim to buy a house, to have kids? Like, they have this dream, idyllic world set out, but you get the impression that at any moment now, reality could hit them slap bang in the face. The bubble could pop. Money doesn't just grow on trees.
He has great ideas, he just needs to execute them. I can't do this all on my own, so he needs to step up to the plate.
We're definitely left with more questions than answers, but there are some rays of light in this relationship. Like, you can definitely tell therapy has been good for them. It just remains to be seen whether or not this change is real. Is it just for the cameras? Will the facade soon come crashing down? I can't shake the feeling that it's only a matter of time before Danielle snaps back into her old self.